All right. Good morning. We are live again. It's a Reunited live show. Yes, that's what we've been doing since this off season, and today again we come live to talk about our beloved Manchester United and how things are panning out for us this off season. This transfer window, has it been exciting? Has it been dull? How do you think, or how do you rate signing so far? The first signing under or in the Ten Hag era happened to be Tyrell Malacia from Feyenoord. Then there came also Christian Eriksen. He also was signed as a free agent. He played with Brentford. Yeah, in January he only played for 6 months, and more signings could be walking in. The likes of Martinez, who we heard is flying all the way to Manchester to have his medicals and then join the team later all the way in Asia for the preseason, and also Frankie de Jong. What we are hearing this morning, or the latest coming in, is that Frankie de Jong is part of that team. Barcelona team that is traveling this morning all the way to the US to have preseason, even though we heard that a 72 million deal has been agreed. But what's left in that deal is just that Frankie de Jong is yet to accept personal terms or agree personal terms with Manchester United. Today is going to be interesting because in the next 60 minutes we'll be talking about our games. The preseason victory. So far Manchester United have made it 2 wins out of 2 games, and they won 4-0 against Liverpool. Then it was another 4-1 or 4 goals from Manchester United as they trashed Melbourne Victory by 4 goals to 1. So we'll be taking your thoughts as this game or as the show progresses. If you have any questions, any comments, you can just just jot them down, and we can read it for you already. We have Mohamed Nuruddin Abubakar, who is watching. Good morning to you wherever you are. I'm in Ghana. I'm in Accra, to be precise. So it's morning over here, 2 minutes past 11, and I hope you enjoy the show as it progresses, because we will be having the CEO of Reunited Live channel, that's Nana-Poku Hitchfield. He's going to join us to have some discussions pretty shortly. Let's see if Nana-Poku Hitchfield is here, and yes, Nana-Poku Hitchfield is here. So definitely Manchester United and what's actually been happening in the camp of United. Yesterday it was a 4-1 victory. Oh, Nana-Poku, good morning to you.
1 hug, 2 hug, 3 hug, 4 hug, 5 hug.
Glory, by United. Glory, by United. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning to you, Duzakwe. How are you doing? So I'm doing great. As a Manchester United fan,
I can see you look elated.
Is going on. Yes, I look flabbergasted with what is happening at Manchester United at the moment. We've got Christian Eriksen, we have Lisandro Lopez in a bed. Everything seems to be going on well at Manchester United at the moment, and I'm elated. My weekend just got better.
Your mood says it all. There's lots to discuss today. We have a lot to discuss today relative to Manchester United. But then let's start off with a kit, because yesterday, or was it this morning, I saw a very colorful, artistic, you can use all the right words to describe that kit.
Yeah.
That away kit. What do you make of that kit?
Now, normally you can see I'm in last year's home.
I can see that.
And normally what I do is I wait till all the kits are here so that I can pinpoint what to buy first. Because, sometimes you might not like the first jersey or the third kit. But then when I saw this morning, like the away kit, that is what I'm getting first. I'm getting that one before the.
Tell you what, myself, I can't wait to get that one, because it looks so beautiful. It looks so, it's just, it's the most beautiful kit I've seen, this season. It's just so beautiful, and I believe that's the first thing I'm going to get. But let's talk about Manchester United. Let's talk business, because yesterday it was a 4-1 victory against Melbourne Victory. So 4-1 victory against Melbourne Victory, and Melbourne Victory, they took the lead earlier on, I think. Under 4 minutes, they went ahead, and Manchester United had to rally back to win 4-1. I hope you watched the game, but What's your assessment of that game?
Now, first of all, it was quite an honor to see Nani back. To see Nani again. That guy hasn't grown a bit. I think some of us have even grown to catch up with Nani. I looked at him and he's so
Exactly.
young and fresh. I think it has something to do with the Portuguese mentality. Probably Cristiano Ronaldo has been giving him tips and here and there, so he's also fit. Now, yesterday the game was a nice game. Manchester United controlled possession from the beginning to the end. And that is something that wasn't said of a Manchester United team in quite some time now. We were stringing 40, 30 passes together. And I'm like, is this Manchester United I'm watching? Now, although we had that early setback with the first goal conceded, we rallied and kept to the plan. And we literally pinned Melbourne Victory in their own half, and we were passing the ball and players. It was actually a delight to watch. And I can't wait for the new season. I can't wait to watch so many preseason matches. And it was such a wonderful victory. And I'm glad that Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal. Like, come on, guys. Zidane Iqbal. So many people thought Hannibal
Yeah.
Mejbri and James Garner were the ones that will actually click this
Exactly.
season, right?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
unfortunately for these kids, they've taken the mantle on, and what they are doing is superb. And Charlie Savage is a player we need to watch out.
Exactly.
We need
Exactly.
to. The
Exactly.
boy is.
You know,
a gem.
we'll talk about that partnership, that Charlie Savage partnership with Zidane Iqbal, yesterday, because you could see that telepathy between the two of them. But let's first talk about the goal we conceded. What do you make of that goal? Was it, a defensive blunder? Was it avoidable? What do you make? Because last season, we shipped in the most goals in a single season in the history of the Premier League. We've never, ever shipped in such a huge amount of goals, and we know that as Ten Hag, took over the team, one thing he was going to work on was the defense. We kept a clean sheet against Liverpool, which is quite louder goal. What do you make of that goal? Do you think it's something we are going to see often again come next season, or you think it's something that we are going to solve?
Now, every team will concede goals. That is for sure. And the goal that came was against the run of play, to be honest. I think Victor Lindelof was cut out, and the pass was played. And Harry Maguire is not the fastest. If it had been Eric Bailey, I think that ball would have been intercepted. But, goals happen, but it is about how you react afterwards. That is the monster mentality that we want from Manchester United. Now, we remember under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we came back from so many goal deficits to win the game. That was the season we went the season unbeaten away from home. So this is what we want to see. Although if we concede goals, we need to score more goals than the opponent, something that Sir Alex Ferguson used to do on countless occasions. And we are hoping that we control games. And one thing I was so happy, or I've been so happy with, is the control Manchester United have on games. When we look at the Liverpool game and we look at the Melbourne Victory game, it is something that gives us hope as Manchester United fans.
All right, so that's a very, very fair assessment over there. You concede, you need to score more goals, But one thing we'll be hoping, to avoid is cheap goals, because last season United, gave away lots and lots of cheap goals, and come that next season is one thing we just want to avoid as a team, because the more you give away cheap goals, the more you just build confidence into your opponent's strikers. But still talking about that game yesterday against Melbourne Victory, who were your standout performers? Because Zidane Iqbal, that chap is something else. That chap is a generational talent. And whenever he touches the ball, you can feel these goosey bumps, because he's so skillful. He has this finesse, in his game. But let's talk about the standout performance yesterday before we single out Zidane Iqbal and talk about him. Who were your standout performers yesterday?
Now, the first team that played, I think the whole team did well. The first team that played, Anthony Martial has 2 goals. in 2 games in preseason. It's looking like Marshall FC is back, baby. Marshall FC is
Ice
back.
cold
Come
Marshall,
on,
right?
guys. Yes, yes, ice cold Marshall. Prior to Cristiano Ronaldo signing for Manchester United, he scored 20 goals the previous season. And I think we have a good player in there. It was just about the coaching. It was just about giving him things to do. It was just about telling that boy he is one of the best strikers in the Premier League. And I think Erik Ten Hag is going to get the best out of Marshall. So I was quite impressed with his movements on and off the ball. He was pressing on the front foot. Anthony Marshall pressing on the front foot. Am I in Pluto or in Jupiter? But that is something that I was impressed with, and I hope he continues that. Anthony Marshall, we need some. We are hoping Mason Greenwood comes, right? But yesterday, Anthony Marshall, Zidane Iqbal, that boy was channeling the inner Zidane. That guy was channeling. He was channeling Zidane because I was looking at him like I was like, where did this boy get this confidence from? And I think a new coach gives confidence. And we've had reports that Erik Ten Hag once said he was perplexed and surprised as to why Zidane Iqbal wasn't playing regularly for Manchester United last season. So I think something like that gives you a vote of confidence, and then you have the full backing of the manager, and then you go do your thing. So Zidane Iqbal, Charlie Savage, Anthony Marshall were the standout performance on the night, and I hope long may it continue though. Long may it continue.
All right, so we're still talking about the performance, but let's talk about Eric Bailly. Eric Bailly. Yesterday, he directly contributed to a goal yesterday. And, where he found himself, in the game against Liverpool, he initiated a counter-attack. And when the goal was scored, he was in and around, the 18-yard box of the opponent. Yeah. Now, talk to me. Yesterday, look at that pass. How he was able to break free through the middle, to thread that pass all the way to Rashford. Do you think we would need that from him? Because, he hasn't really been consistent for Manchester United, for the past seasons. Do you think we are going to see a different Eric Bailly?
Now, Eric Bailly, the problem with Eric Bailly is just his fitness. He gets injured more often, but that is because he gives everything out on the pitch. He is one of those players that after a game, you can pinpoint him and say, this guy gave everything on the pitch. Now, prior to him giving the assist, he made a few mistakes, and that is typical of Bailly, right? But in a game where you want your defenders to play, they need to make mistakes now so that they can correct them in the nearby future. And Erik Ten Hag has given license to the defenders to hold the ball, dictate the play, and start counter-attacks and whatever. So his assist is just the icing on the cake. We know who Eric Bailly is. And when we are playing that pressing style, he gets to press higher up the pitch. One thing about pressing high up the pitch is even when you foul somebody as a defender in their own box, the likelihood of you receiving a yellow card is down. It is minimal. Exactly. Have you noticed?
Exactly.
That is why Liverpool likes to play that way. When you press somebody in their own box, and even when they are trying to counter and you foul the person, that is not a yellow card. It is far away from goal.
Exactly.
So Manchester United playing on the front foot, pressing on the front foot is something that I'm happy, I'm elated about. And Eric Bailly, trust me, guys, he has something. Wait. Let me tell you something. Just now.
All right, go ahead.
Seeing something down that I can see Eric Bailly and Lisandro Martinez playing a lot of matches under Erik Ten Hag because of how proactive they are.
Exactly.
They read the game. And that is what Erik Ten Hag needs. He wants players that read the game. Think before the opponent does. Don't be reactive to things. Be proactive. Think for the player and go in. And Lisandro Martinez, Eric Bailly will have a season under Erik Ten Hag. Trust me.
Now, but talking about Lisandro Martinez, partnering Eric Bailly in the heart of defense. Lisandro Martinez, he is a 5'7", 5'7". Iqbal is, I think, 6'1". You think we wouldn't have, a height deficit in that department? Should we pair the two of them, at centre back? Don't you think, the likes of Haaland and Cole, because we are in a physically, dominated, Premier League where you have, strikers with an average height of 6'4", 6'5". Don't you think they'll be bullied?
Now, I've been saying this. Jumping has nothing to do with height. Somebody can jump higher than somebody that is a bit taller than him. And last season, he averaged the most jump in the Eredivisie. So he is somebody who is aggressive. Now, remember the ball is always on the pitch before it gets to the air, right? The
Exactly.
football is played down on the floor or on the ground. So before the ball gets up, if I have the ball and I'm controlling and I'm passing the game, the only thing you can probably hurt me with is set pieces. But we've got Scott McTominay and a few people with height. So I don't think height will be a problem. What is his name? Pep Guardiola did it with Mascherano at Barcelona. He is not the tallest, but he is very hard to beat in the air. So
all right,
I don't care about it. Okay.
Okay. All right. So now let's move on. A good win for Manchester United. 2 wins out of 2. Going forward, there will be some more games. And I believe this is the perfect time for Erik ten Hag, to make use of the squad he has, because definitely we will need squad depth. Definitely Manchester United will need squad depth. Going into this season, and definitely too there will be some new arrivals. The likes of Frankie de Jong, which we haven't heard anything of. Yes, there's been a fee agreed, but we are yet to, the deal is yet to be finalized, because what we are hearing is that he isn't accepting, or agreeing terms with what Manchester United are offering to him. But let's talk about Christian Eriksen. Just yesterday, he was announced as our second signing under Erik ten Hag. Eriksen, during his days as Tottenham Hotspurs, he played under Mauricio Pochettino, a very, very creative player, one of the most creative players in the league. He moved on. He played at Inter Milan, and moved back to England again to play at Brentford. What do you think of Christian Eriksen as a player, and how do you think he will fit into this Manchester United team?
Now, when you talk about the word comeback, I think Christian Eriksen epitomizes the word in every letter of the word, like comeback.
Comeback in, right?
An amazing story it has been for Christian Eriksen. Everybody thought that was the end of Christian Eriksen, but that is human. Anytime you fall down, you need to stand up, dust yourself, and keep going, because this is life. You need to do the things you love doing. And last season, he joined Brentford in the second half of the season, played 10 matches, assisted 4, created 3 chances per 90 minutes, had 2 shots per 90 minutes, and had a goal. He played just 10 matches and had 4 assists and a goal, and created so many chances. So Christian Eriksen, we know what he can do. And I think Erik ten Hag has a soft spot for people with that, Daily Blind had a similar condition and he was treated, and he played under Erik ten Hag last season almost every game. So maybe Erik ten Hag has a thing for people suffering with a heart condition, because he knows that is just a condition. It is like you having a flu, since it has been fixed. That is what people don't know. Since it has been fixed, I think Eriksen has been superb in the Premier League, and he'll be an amazing signing for Manchester United, because now we've got ourselves another person who can pin that long ball, who can pin that through pass, who can drop off, pick passes, spread play. Ever since when Rooney left, we haven't had a midfielder or a player that can switch passes. We need to see that diagonal long balls. Those are the passes that breaks up teams. When you spread the long ball or a diagonal ball, it gives the winger a one-on-one situation with a defender. And we know Manchester United have wonderful wingers. So we need to give them that one-on-one situation where Marcus Rashford one-on-one with a defender, where he needs to beat the defender. So I'm happy with Christian Eriksen. I'm I think he is more important to me than Frankie de Jong, honestly. Because
Wow,
when I look
wow,
at
that's a
Charlie
bold claim.
Salvage,
That's a bold claim you're making over
yeah,
there.
yes, because Frankie de Jong, when I'm looking at what Zidane Iqbal, Charlie Savage, we have James Garner, Donny van de Beek, and these guys are already there, right? And so if you don't want to store the growth of Zidane Iqbal, you don't want to store the growth of Charlie Savage, then you need to give room so that they can also be playing at least 10 games a season. So if Frankie de Jong doesn't want to come to Manchester United, come on, this is Manchester United. We are supposed to be the biggest club in the world. The 85 million that has been quoted for Frankie de Jong, we can get two quality midfielders from the Premier League. Ruben Neves, Yuri Tillemans.
So
We
are
can
you
get.
Nana Poku, wait. Are you telling me, are you making the claim that
Yeah.
there's no need for Manchester United to go ahead and sign Frankie de Jong because we have Eriksen over there and we also have some quite exciting youngsters in the team who you think would be matured in the next 2 to 3 seasons. So there's no need for Manchester United to go in for Frankie de Jong. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and I think most Manchester United fans have the same. What word should I use? They are thinking like I do right now. Because prior to this season, what was the most important position in midfield that you thought Manchester United needed to solve? That is the defensive midfield position. And in the
Exactly.
Premier League, we've seen Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves is a proper number 6. So if Frankie de Jong, now that we have Eriksen, he can play as a 10, he can play as an 8 too, right? Just like Bruno Fernandes,
Exactly.
just like a few
Exactly.
other players. So we can get Ruben Neves for around 45 million quid, right? We can get those people in if Frankie de Jong doesn't want to play for
But
Manchester
but but,
United.
but Frankie de
Because
Jong
we
happens to
know,
be Frankie de Jong happens to be the player Eric Ten Hag says his system could evolve around. Don't you think he's going to be an important piece in Ten Hag's project?
oh yeah, he is going to be an important piece. But what we are trying to get rid of at Manchester United at the moment is players who don't want to play for this club. We've got rid of this prima donnas, Paul Pogba, and these guys. They've left the club. We want players like Tyrone Malacia. He was bound to go to Lyon, but as soon as Manchester United came in, he saw the team as a step up. And that is what we need at Manchester United. Players ready to play for this great club, this wonderful badge, you know. So let's move on from Frankie de Jong and hopefully get somebody who wants to play for
But
Manchester
the
United.
deal looks imminent. The deal looks imminent. It's only up to Frankie de Jong to accept personal terms, and then that deal will be finalized. But his coming is somewhat inevitable. He is
Yeah.
definitely going to come after that money. But how do you think the inclusion of Frankie de Jong is going to deter or hamper the development of the likes of Charlie Savage, Iqbal, and co?
Yeah, that is what I said. Although we know that Eric Ten Hag is a fan of Frankie de Jong and he sees him as that cornerstone of this Manchester United side. He wants Frankie de Jong. But the truth is Frankie de Jong willing to play for Manchester United? Sometimes it's not all about talent, it's about determination and the will to do things. If he wants to play for Manchester United, he would have been here already. And one thing or report, I spoke to a few friends in Norway today, and we were talking about Frankie de Jong, and what they said was that maybe he just wants to be paid the money he's owed at Barcelona before he leaves because he doesn't want to leave that money there. If that is the case, 100% I want Frankie de Jong. I want good players for Manchester United and especially players that the manager wants. So if Eric Ten Hag wants Frankie de Jong and it is just about that 70 million quid that it needs, that Barcelona need to pay him, They should give him the money and let him come to Manchester United and play for
All
the
right,
biggest
so
club in the world.
we're still talking transfers. Christian Eriksen, he has joined it. I have Olayode Mason Yusuf over here. He's saying we should talk about Anthony. Yes, Olayode would definitely be talking about Anthony before the show ends. But still talking about Eriksen, I went through his numbers, today, and it was quite impressive numbers. This is a chap who only started playing for Brentford in January, and he ended up playing only 11 games since January. Only 11 games. But guess what? He created the third most chances in the Premier League, only behind Odegaard and Kevin De Bruyne. And that's impressive, isn't it? That's so impressive. Impressive. He ended the season also with 4, assists. And, I compared his numbers to the likes of Matic, McTominay, Fred, and also Bruno Fernandes. And just look at the areas where he came out on top after 11 games. Per 90 minutes, he gave out, more assists than any of our players. He also created 3 chances per game. That's more than any of our midfielders, including Bruno Fernandes. Now, guess what? His crosses attempted per game. Crosses attempted was 8 per game. 8 per game. And that's quite impressive. And now, another thing to add to that is his crossing accuracy, which is 38%. And that's superior to all the numbers I have over here. So you can see the kind or the type of player we are signing for free. There's a 30-year-old we are signing. You compare that to Chelsea signing a 31-year-old Koulibaly for 40 million euros. And this is a bargain, isn't it?
Absolute bargain. Christian Eriksen is an absolute bargain for Manchester United. It is one of the best businesses we've done in a very, very, very long while. We've got Cavani and others on the free, but Christian Eriksen now last season, one thing that was widely reported was Manchester United's inability to score from set pieces. Now, when you look at the numbers there, the crossing accuracy, he tallies Bruno Fernandes, Fred, McTominay, and all of these guys. So maybe pin this one down too. Harry Maguire is going to get 5 goals this season.
Trust me. Because Harry Maguire is a 6'4". He's a 6'4", and he's taller than most defenders, in the Premier League. And his inability to connect to such set pieces last season was really, really worrying. It was worried, because I remember in his first season, he combined with Bruno Fernandes when we went all the way to Stamford Bridge, and it was a goal we're expecting, to see many more, just last season. But unfortunately, we're not seeing it. But you can also attribute that to, the poor cross or poor delivery from our players. But having Christian Eriksen, we all saw how he used to assist the likes of Toby Alderweireld and also Sean Vertonghen all the way, during his Spurs days. So I believe there's something that is really going to improve, the team and also, facilitate, our goal scoring chances. Definitely is going to, help us, create lots of chances and also end up scoring, more goals. But let's talk about the other signing, that is Martinez, Lisandro Martinez. Martinez. He is a defender who played under Ten Hag at Ajax. And guess what? He won the Ajax Player of the Season last season. He won the Ajax Player of the Season last season. Now, tell me, I know you're a fan of that player. I know you are his number 1 fan. Tell me about Lisandro Martinez. What kind of player do you think he is?
Now, Eriksen had vetoed against signing a player like Pau Torres and decided to go for Lisandro Martinez. Now, when he came, Manchester United wanted to sign Pau Torres. And we know how good Pau Torres is. But Lisandro Martinez has something different. Because of his height, he is quick off the ground. He is that N'Golo Kante type of player. Before you think he's already there. And that is what makes him so successful. But talking about the defensive side of his game, the attacking side is what is perplexing so many people. Now, last season in the Eredivisie, he completed the most passes for a defender. Most passes completed, and he made touches in the opposition half. He was the second player, opposition half, for a defender.
As a centre back. That's quite mind-blowing, isn't it?
It is mind-boggling. Not just mind-blowing, it is mind-boggling. Also, he made forward passes. He was third on the chart in the Eredivisie. Forward
Wow.
passes for a defender. And that is what we need. You know, we are playing a proactive type of football under Erik ten Hag. And we need Lisandro Martinez. And Erik ten Hag knows from what he has seen that if he puts Lisandro Martinez in this Manchester United team, come on, guys. We are in for a ride.
All right,
Glory,
glory, United. Let me give some shout outs to we have John Saint watching, and Zalmin is also watching. Pifien, those are friends all the way in Asia, and they've made time to watch this live show, which is quite impressive. Thanks to you,
Thank you very much.
wherever you are. We really appreciate your company, and we'll be hoping that some of you would join our live segments, in our subsequent shows to come. We have Zidane Iqbal. He is also watching, and
I hope you got his name right.
Pardon?
I hope you got his name right, though.
Yeah. I think I got that right. But still talking about our new acquisitions, we are still talking about Lisandro Martinez. Now, one can make the argument that you already have Maguire, you have Varane, you have Lindelof, you have Bailly, you have Tuanzebe. Why are you bringing in, Lisandro Martinez? You have Phil Jones, 6 centre backs. Why do you, go ahead to bring, in another centre back?
Now we know. Now look at the games against Liverpool and Melbourne Victory. You could realize that Erik ten Hag played Alex Telles on the left side of the of the centre back partner.
Yeah, centre back pairing. Yeah, exactly.
He wants a left-footed centre back. And all the names that you mentioned are players who are right-footed, right? And as I said, Erik ten Hag has had time with Lisandro Martinez at Ajax, and he knows what that boy or what that chap is capable of. He knows what he's capable of doing. And the stats I just mentioned earlier shows how progressive he is in his passing, accurate passing, and we need to keep the ball. The style under Erik ten Hag will be for Manchester United to keep the ball. So Lisandro Martinez ticks every box for Manchester United and for Erik ten Hag. That is why he is in Manchester as I speak, and he will be unveiled as a Manchester United
player.
Yeah,
exactly. Definitely in the coming hours, definitely today, if not today, then on Sunday, that's hopefully tomorrow, Martinez will be officially unveiled as a Manchester United player. But let's talk about these stats over here. This chap made 2.3 tackles last season. 2.3 tackles last season, as against Maguire's 1.3, 1.4 from Varane, and 0.7 from Lindelof. And also, you talk about his duels. He contested 11 duels per game. 11 at his height. Look at his height. Comparing him to these giants, you could say he has a diminutive figure. But this is a player who's not scared to launch into tackles, to take risks and read the game, and he's everywhere, on the pitch. Do you think that the pace of the EPL might expose him? Because, he's a workaholic. He wants to be everywhere on the pitch, even as a centre back. Do you think the pace of the EPL could end up exposing him?
Now, what you said is pace, and he has loads of it. Lisandro Martinez has loads of pace. And I said it earlier, that football is played on the pitch, right? On the ground before it gets to the air. And Erik ten Hag wants a proactive style of football. So if you are proactive, you think for the player. You are always close to the player. So as soon as, now I remember Jurgen Klopp was saying in his post-match interview that Manchester United were man-marking his midfielders in midfield. That wasn't it. Erik ten Hag is implementing a proactive style of football, and that is what it is at Manchester United at the moment. That is the reason why he gets in so many tackles, because he is short. Now, when somebody is shorter than you in football, those of us that play football, we know it. The person is always in front of you in a way. Even when you dribble the person gets in front of you. So that is why he gets so many tackles in. And as I said, he is the N'Golo Kante of defenders. Because of his height, it helps him to pitch or break up play easily. He is everywhere. And the pace trust me, Josakwe, he has so many pace to bend in the English Premier League.
Exactly. That's a very, very fine, player brought in over there. Now
Yeah.
let's talk about his colleague. All right. So I think we are back. Sorry for that glitch here. He's still live on the Reunited channel. Yeah, there's a fan page for Manchester United fans. And I was talking with the CEO of Reunited channel, that's Nana-Poku Hitfield, and we are talking about, the expectations for our new signings. We've already signed Tyrone Malacia, and also Christian Eriksen was unveiled yesterday as a Manchester United player. And he said that, one of the main factors or the major factors, that influenced his coming to Manchester United was the fact that Erik ten Hag was the manager, and he believes in Erik ten Hag. He believes in that project he's undertaking at Manchester United, and he will really relish the opportunity to play under this manager. I have Nana-Poku Hitfield back on the line. So sorry for that, technical error we had over there. We had an issue with our connection. I think the cable men are in and itself. We are being proactive. We are being proactive this season. We're talking about Anthony because a fan wanted to know, the latest with regards to the Anthony issue. What's it with Anthony? Because already we signed a player from Ajax. Do you think it's going to be so difficult to get over the line with?
Erik ten Hag would have loved to have Anthony, but unfortunately, Manchester United weren't proactive in the transfer market, and Ajax have let so many players leave. Haller has left for Borussia Dortmund, and they didn't even want to let Lisandro Martinez leave. So getting Anthony will be very, very difficult. And I think if Mason Greenwood's saga comes to an end, we will have enough on the right-hand side. Now, Erik ten Hag wants to play with players that can play in multiple positions, multiple positions. And if Mason Greenwood comes, we are covered in that aspect. Because I've been saying this, why did we buy Facundo Pellistri? Why did we buy Amad Diallo Traore? Because we know they are young guys that will be capable of playing. And these players play on the right-hand side. Sahid Chon, for instance, is also a player that plays on the right-hand side. So it is just all about coaching. Now, you realize yesterday from the game that even though the personnel had changed, the football didn't change on the pitch. And that is what we want to see from Manchester United. Next season, guys, is 5 subs. Next season will be 5 subs. So we need players that will fill in, and we won't even see the difference. We want that quality all around. And when the system works, you can put a cockroach there, and the person will perform. So I'm hoping.
All right. If the system works, you can put a cockroach there.
And the person will still perform.
Exactly.
Now, let me give football fans this insight. Do you remember Josh Flanagan?
Yeah, Liverpool. Exactly.
Josh Flanagan under Brendan Rodgers at left back. Look at that season. Look at his performances. I thought that boy will be something else. Where is he now?
Exactly.
Look at Christian Tello. So, as I'm saying, when the system works, even if you put a cockroach, the person will be problem.
Okay, all right. Before we log out, let's talk about the prospect. Yesterday I was watching Zidane Iqbal, and just I think some 20 minutes into the game, or after he came on, Twitter was flooded with Zidane Iqbal. Zidane Iqbal was the name on everyone's lips. Zidane Iqbal. Zidane Iqbal. Then eventually, Zidane did the Zidane. Zidane did the Zidane. It was meltdown on Twitter. It was meltdown on Twitter. This is a chap with so much, confidence. At his age, he was born in 2003. He's 19 years of age. He's still a teenager. But look at the confidence he plays with. He oozes confidence whenever he has the ball. And he doesn't feel, any kind of pressure on him when he plays. And the kind of skill set this guy possesses. What are your expectations for Zidane? Last season, he played in one Champions League game, and I think he featured in some, other games. But what are your expectations for this guy, Zidane Iqbal?
Now, I'm happy Erik ten Hag is there. You see, every coach, Anthony Langa was a favorite of Ralph Ragnick. Every coach or every manager comes to a team and there is this one young chap he picks and mentors, over the years. We know Louis van Gaal had Marcus Rashford,
exactly.
Jose Mourinho came in and his favorite was
David Moyes, I think, had Adnan Januzaj.
Yes,
he had
Januzaj. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's favorite was Mason Greenwood. His favorite player was Mason Greenwood. He kept talking about Mason Greenwood all the time. So every manager has his own favorite, and Zidane Iqbal, I think, will be somebody that will feature a lot under this manager, Erik ten Hag, and we are hoping to see more of him this season. The internet.
All right, so we've spoken about Zidane Iqbal. We have about some 5 minutes, before we wrap up. Let's talk about Charlie Savage. His father is Robbie Savage, who played in the PL. He's a legend. What do you make of his performances yesterday? Because yesterday in the heart of midfield, I saw Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal, and they dominated the game totally. These two players dominated the entire second half, in that victory against Melbourne Victory. So what do you make of his performances, Charlie Savage? Before we also talk about Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo, what a sensational guy we have. And, he's one of the reasons why I feel going in for Anthony wouldn't make any sense. Because Amad Diallo possesses just the skill set you need or you want from a winger. Confidence, positioning, dribbling, everything. He checks all the boxes. What do you make of Charlie Savage? Now, you talked to me briefly, too, about Amad Diallo and also Ethan Laird. Talk to me about these chaps.
Now, as I said, we paid so much money for Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. That is why we need to give them ample chances. We know Jadon Sancho can play on the right as well as the left.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We know
Facundo
Pellistri. I can hear you clearly. And we know Amad Diallo Traore also plays on the right-hand side. So let's give chances to these guys, and hopefully Manchester United will move with this new style of play. We will develop and redevelop this style to a style that every team in the Premier League will hate playing against us. And Ethan Laird, we know what he can do. That guy is quick. He's off the ground. He is similar to Tyrone Malacia in a way. So we are hoping that he kicks on and keeps delivering. And I hope that probably we can get a few quid for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because this style of play certainly doesn't suit him. This style of play is not Aaron Wan-Bissaka style. Now, Josakwe, I want you to tell Manchester United fans in Africa and Manchester United fans in Ghana about the Reunited Shock-prised show that we want to bring to every African, to Ghanaians, and to every Manchester United fan. Tell them about
I just, I always just can't, wait to talk about what, the Reunited channel on Facebook has for its fans, and it's something that every United fan should be ready for, especially if you're in Africa, because the fans in Africa, or the United or Manchester United fans in Africa, are the sole reason behind, the genesis or the creation of this page, and the Shock-prised show, or the Reunited Shock-prised, show is just simply taking United fans all the way to Old Trafford to enjoy that feeling, in Old Trafford, and it's a dream for every fan. It's a dream for every fan, to have that, connection with their club. And that's what we are providing for Manchester United fans in Africa. One from Ghana, one from Nigeria, and the other one from any other African country at all. And we don't want you to feel alienated to your club. Yeah. That's why we are bringing this to you wherever you are on the African continent. This it's early days, but we need you on board. If you're a Manchester United fan, whenever you just log on, you join our live sessions, please don't forget to share. This is the Reunited Shock-prised, and you could end up being that lucky winner. You never know. You could end up being that lucky winner. So Nana Poku, it's a good initiative, and I always bless, God for this, and we ask for God's blessings, because we can't do any of these things without Him. But wherever you are on the continent, we will come to you. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, because already we've been in so many corners in Accra, that's the capital, and we look at expanding that to other territories as well. This is basically for United fans. If you're a United fan, we don't want you to feel left out. Some United fans, I once witnessed this fallout between two United fans on Twitter, when one was saying, I live in Manchester. What can you say about Manchester? You have the